Hey, I'm Chris Januszewski, and welcome to the Rebellious Times Podcast, Austin series. So I'm based in Austin. We put this series together to showcase some of the great work from entrepreneurs that's going on in our local community. So big up to Austin. And today we've got a really kind of a special guest on because he's a friend of mine. We've worked together before. His name's Tiberiu Motoc. We worked together before when I first arrived in the United States, when I hopped over the pond to Palo Alto, to a company called Endicia, where I didn't know what I was doing. I was dropped into this heavy tech world with a little bit of product experience. And yeah, it was a really interesting time in my career. I learned so much. And, Tiberiu was there on the engineering team at Endicia, a super technical person. And so the sort of person that kind of helped me get up to speed and survive in this deep tech jungle, let's say. Tiberiu, how are you doing?
Doing very well, and I'm happy to join you.
Thanks for coming on today. Thanks for taking time out of your busy days. So your business is CommerceShip. So you're a shipping guy. Tell us about CommerceShip and tell us about CommerceShip, what it does, who your customers are.
Sounds good. So CommerceShip. So we help brands and warehouses save on average of 30% on shipping. And the way we do that, I'm going to dive straight into it. We have two main components. We have a transport management system, and I'll talk about that. That's been my bread and butter for a long time, going back all to the days of Endicia. And then the other part that we've done, we have built a great insights and analytics engine, and which optimizing your shipping. And our great value add to the industry is that we're creating an optimization loop between the two. So we're ingesting shipping data, we analyze it, we optimize it, and all the insights are being fed back into the transport management system, which leads to savings. Our plan to roll out a few more features this year is to create not an optimization loop between our TMS and our insights and analytics engine, but to basically start creating the optimization loop with other transport management systems.
Okay, wonderful. You can see when a really technical person comes on the show and they want to dig right into the weeds straight away. I would love to share with our viewers a bit about your background, kind of step back a little bit, kind of way from what your journey was to the Bay Area and then to Austin.
Sounds good. So, born and raised in Romania. My family moved to Canada when I was a teenager. I finished my high school there, and I got a degree in computer and electrical engineering in Toronto. And thing about Toronto is that there's not that many jobs in semiconductor. So 2005 is when I moved to the States for grad school. I ended up in the Bay Area, and I worked in semiconductors for about 5 years. In 2010, I had a big desire to jump on the software bandwagon, and I got a job. My very first software job was actually at a company called Endicia. And of course, that's where you and I met. I think you came in about a year later. And I was a software guy there. I ended up doing a startup with one of the Endicia co-founders in 2016. We merged with a company from Provo, Utah called International Bridge. I became their co-founder and CTO and worked there for a while. The company was successful, and I had an exit about 2.5 years ago. Now, the last 2+ years, I started CommerceShip with our common friend, Richard Garcia. So this is another Endicia alumni. There's quite a few of us, and it's always happy times whenever we meet at conferences or just in the wild. So Richard has been my partner now at CommerceShip for a little bit over 2 years. And we thought that we have one more thing to give to the shipping industry, to the shipping tech. It's something that we understand really well.
Love it. And yeah, shout out to Richard Garcia, a good friend of mine as well. And I also a shout out to Endicia. So Endicia was an incredible company. I've worked in many places and I've never seen a culture like it. From the founders down to everybody in the company, everybody was treated with respect. Everybody had a lot of fun. I probably had too much fun. I probably got bought in a little bit too much. Played a lot of ping pong there. I was pretty good, and Tiberiu beat me at the Capital Factory a couple of weeks back. So I think I've lost all my skills. But yeah, for me, a prime example of just a wonderful company to work for was Indisha. But anyway, I so you made the transition from being a senior engineer, right? And in the Bay Area, a successful senior engineer, there's a lot of benefits that come with that. There's a lot of money that comes with that. There's a lot of opportunity that comes with that. You took the risky step to switch to be an entrepreneur and go down your own path and build your own business. And you had success with your previous exit. But just tell me a little bit about kind of the mindset for you to step out of your comfort zone and build a startup.
Sure. So I've always tinkered around with projects on the side. I've had some small ideas here and there. I work with product with friends, of course. San Francisco, everybody that comes there has usually an idea, and I was in the same boat. But I never really quit my job and focused 100%. And I regretted it. I had some good ideas throughout the years, and just thinking back, I really wish that I was very serious about them. So in 2016, it just happened that I found a great opportunity, and I thought it was great, and it was one of the Indicha original founders decided to do something with me. So I thought, okay, well, I have a bit of a safety net now. I have a bit of a momentum behind me. I'm also a little bit more mature, and I always wanted to do something. So it was great. It was combining software with shipping and logistics. And back at Indicha, I really developed an empathy for our customers. I'm not sure if you remember, but I was that engineer that would always beg the business folks to take me with them on customer visits. I always wanted to see how our customers use our software, and I was the backend engineer, right? So I was on the API. I was probably more, let's say, the direct customer, or at least the smaller shippers that the business team would go visit. Probably they were not the folks that were directly using the API. They were probably using the user interface. But I was still very curious. So I was curious. Like I said, I developed an empathy for shippers. I knew what would happen if our API would be down even for half an hour. It really impacted the lives of people. And I thought, what, I can do things better. And that was the mindset. But that was 2016. We didn't have such a great business plan, or I guess any kind of plan. We just thought that, look, we can make things better. And again, thinking back, that was a little bit more naive. And luckily, we found a partner that helped us grow in the end, the idea, but was basically by combining a few product lines which allowed us to be successful.
Fantastic. So you've transitioned from working as an engineer for a successful startup that was then acquired to um, starting your own business and building your own shipping product, you've also been kind of swimming in this whole sea of AI, right? All of a sudden, AI came along and changed software development. What did that mean for you as an engineer to all of a sudden have to understand this new world and incorporate it in what you're doing? And how did it help you?
Yeah, so I've been now an engineer for a little bit over 20 years. And every, I would say, 6, 7 years, something new came about that we all had to jump on, right? So as an engineer, every time there's a wave, of course, I mean, the whole world moves in that direction, but even more to engineers, you really have to jump on that bandwagon. Otherwise, your skills are outdated. And you don't want to be that engineer that always gets left behind to turn off the light when everything is just done for. And there's still, I mean, I'm not sure, I don't know if I should say luckily or not, but there's still some of those jobs around. Um, you want to be at the cutting edge. So interesting enough is that we started early 2023, and it's the first time I of course, you start hearing it in the news, and you just don't know how much it's going to impact you. You don't know how good it is. But the more I was getting my hands dirty with it, the more I realized that, it is a game changer. So, and maybe I think I might be jumping ahead now, but now we've been at it for 2 years. So we had to actually make some pivots because of it. It helped us a lot on the back end. And then we started with small features that incorporate AI. And now for the next generation of whatever we're planning to launch for in the next few months, it will be basically core AI based. So, it started small, and now it will probably become core of our business.
Love it. Love it. And in terms of the shipping space, what are the specific complexities of building a product for the shipping space?
Sure. So, I'll take a step back and I'll talk about, and I'll tie it back to one of the questions that you asked earlier. Why CommerceShip? Why are we here? And how it all plays into AI and the complexity. So, um, what we've noticed about the shipping world is that it's very fragmented. When you run a successful brand or a warehouse, you need quite a few softwares. You need a warehouse management system, an order management system. You need audit, and of course, there's the other things that help you with the supply chain and the marketing and everything else. And we thought that the current systems lack, or the current transfer management systems, and like I mentioned, this had been our bread and butter for a while. What they lacked was the cost optimization. There's the spend management companies, the audit companies, and what those lack is basically actionable insights. They give you great insights, but someone still has to take those insights, right? So change your carrier, change your packaging.
So what, just for audience who don't know what spend management is, just kind of break it down to its simplest terms.
Sure. So let's just say you run a successful brand. Let's say you have a CPG that you're starting out from your garage, and you get some funding, you get some traction, you run great marketing. It's a great product, so it takes off. So at that point, you're spending quite a bit. I think anywhere between 15 to 25% on shipping costs as a brand. And at some point, you might decide that's quite a hefty cost, and you want to lower that. So you'll go to one of the audit companies and you'll give them your shipping data. They analyze it and they'll give you back a report that says, okay, well, you're spending too much time on FedEx second day, or let's say an equivalent type of service, and you should maybe do a ground. Or by the way, you should maybe not use ground. You should use air in these services, in these for these zip codes, things like that. So what happens there is that you probably have someone that helps you run the actual shipping. So your warehouse manager gets the report, and then they have to go and they have to go to, let's say you're using ShipStation as a transfer management system, and you'll have to go and change some of the automation rules to take advantage of those insights, which of course would lead to cost savings. Our grand idea was that you can combine the systems and you can build them from ground up. So we built this great transfer management system, which manages your orders. It's multi-carrier, omni-channel type of system. So you import all your orders and then you do rate shopping and everything else. Now, um, the previous generation of transfer management systems, everything was about saving money from let's say, a carrier point of view. What we're promoting is carrier diversification, which has been around for a while now, for the last few years. But what we're doing, we're basically saying, look, we can also act as an audit and optimization platform. So when your shipping happens, all the shipping data gets sent into our backend. We analyze the heck out of it, and those actionable items will then become automation rules, which are being fed back in the transfer management system. So without lifting a finger, you can take advantage of those insights which would lead to those cost savings.
Okay, brilliant. And so, for those who've never been in the e-commerce or the package goods space before, um, there are three major carriers, right? There's USPS, there's FedEx, and there's UPS. Then you've got a bunch of regional carriers as well, and each one of these carriers has multiple different services. So you're shipping a package from point A to point B, and so to actually calculate which carrier and service to use is a big, complex task. And then when you've done that, you've got to check that you've been charged correctly because FedEx and UPS invoice you after the fact, right? So there's a whole process to optimize your business and make sure it runs ultra efficiently. And so that's what CommerceShip is doing.
Absolutely. So just to add a little bit more details, it's not just the major carriers, right? So there's FedEx, UPS, USPS. There's regional carriers involved as well. The way it works with brands is that they usually get approached by a carrier, they receive a contract, and they hope that that contract will basically will lead to the highest savings. So that would be, let's say, the cheapest way that they can ship things. And it's not quite always the same. It's not quite always this idea, because what happens is that sometimes you might want to ship out to PO boxes, or you want to ship APO FPO, so you have to use USPS for that. Or you might have, for example, alcohol. Well, USPS doesn't do that, so you have to do FedEx and UPS. So there will always be a mix of carriers that you have to use. So our idea was that, well, how do you optimize that mix? So we'll look at the contract or contracts, because some shippers might have several contracts with different carriers, and we'll analyze each one. And then, like I said, some of the insights would be, well, maybe in this situation, you should have used UPS, or maybe DHL, or maybe one of the regional carriers. So speaking of regional carriers, and maybe this is it lets me dive back into the technical details. One of our strengths is that we can rate things really well and really quickly. So we are a full compliance engine for USPS, FedEx, UPS, and some of the regional carriers. And what that allows us to do, it allows us to pull a rate from our system really quickly, and the right rate too, right? And that, again, when I say that the correct rate, that means a lot, because there's just so many dimensions, so many factors come in when you calculate the shipping rate. And we do that because we don't want to rely on any external APIs. You don't want to call the FedEx API or the USPS API for every single package that you have. Just imagine that you have to analyze a few thousands or tens of thousands of packages a day, and you have to basically rate them across carriers. If you were to basically call the API for each one, that just wouldn't work out.
So
There's a
you've got a powerful solution there. So it looks like you're able to serve, larger customers at scale. You're not looking for kind of 1 and 2 packages a month. You're looking for professional shipping operations that will really benefit from this analysis and cost savings.
That is correct. So, about our ideal customer profile, if you are a brand that's just starting out and there's just a few packages that you're shipping out on a daily basis, there's a few great solutions out there. I think there's Pirate Ship, there's Shippo, even ShipStation plays in that the growing SMB part. So those are great solutions, and they're rightly priced. But what happens is that there's not that much to optimize. Once your business picks up, and of course shipping becomes an important part of that, that's when optimizations really kicks in. So if you have, let's say, 50 or more packages a day, that's when we come in. And by the way, that's also about the time when the carriers will probably contact you, and they will probably offer you a contract. We just want to make sure that you have the right contract, and that you're not leaving any money on the table.
Fantastic. Great. Right. Let's switch gears. I want to hear about your Austin experience. So tell me, What does Austin mean to you as a founder, and also from a life and a family perspective? What does Austin mean to you?
Sure. So I lived in the Bay Area for 15 years before I moved to Austin, and I heard great things about Austin, and I mean, of course, the food, the music scene. But interesting enough, I was in a chapter of my life where I was looking for a good school district and I guess, a bigger house because we were growing as a family and quite a few Indicia alumni folks, one of you included, told me a lot of great things about Austin. And then we came here during the pandemic, and it has been great. So again, for someone who has a young family, it's a great place to be. It's very safe. There's a lot of things to do, but also being an entrepreneur, it's great as well. I am a technical co-founder. I can get a lot of things online. I can go to conferences. I can learn things. There are still some things on the business side which I'm learning myself, and I'm still learning. And things like go to market strategies, and the product market fit. I think I did okay because again, I've always been very close to the shippers, and I understood their pain points. But again, on the sales side, and some of the other entrepreneurship things, I felt that I still need, there are a few things to learn. And I have to say, it's been great for that. There's quite a few groups here. Everybody's very eager to help. I've joined two running clubs. So it's, the pitch and run, and I think the FRC. So you meet on Friday morning, Saturday morning, you go for a jog, and then at the end you have a coffee, and then you talk to people about your startup. I got a lot of help. I met quite a few folks that helped me with the lead generation type of ideas, and not just that, but even in some cases, right? I mean, even on the technical side, I feel that again, without having actual, too many coworkers and kind of, being by myself and working from remote myself, I still feel that I don't have, you know how it is, right? When you work in an office, you go and you have a cup of coffee with someone and you talk about things, and then there's a lot of ideas being exchanged, and which leads to better work. So these are my coworkers, right? Folks that work in coffee shops, in the coffee shops of Austin. Even you and I, sometimes we meet and we talk, and it's good synergy. I come out with like a lot of good things. And also even my neighbors, I would say it's such a tech scene that a lot of my neighbors are themselves entrepreneurs, either technical or, let's say, folks who actually be part, kind of like my ideal customer profile. And this is how we even started. So we found product market fit because of some neighbors, which I've asked. I said, can I have some, do you mind if I took a look at your shipping data? I think I have a product that saves you money. It's unproven, but I think it's going to work. And they said, sure. So I got to basically analyze their data. It was a lot of savings there. I mean, just an example of one of our early success stories, which, and there's actually a few of these stories which led us to find our product market fit and allows us to hopefully be successful in the future.
Great. So we've got the same experience there. Austin is great for business. It's great for startups. There's a wonderful tech scene, and we had a lot of fun and met a lot of people at absolutely packed Austin Tech Week last week. Right, Tiberiu, it's been fantastic having you on. Thank you so much for coming, and let's grab a coffee soon.
Sounds good. Good to be here.